Hello, and thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Wednesday, May the 4th edition of our video devotionals, and we do appreciate you being with us today. Hope your Wednesday's going well. And as always, we say at this point of the week, midway point of the work week and school week, and you're halfway there. And then, of course, tonight, if you're able to attend Wednesday evening Bible studies and church services, then do that. That's a benefit to you and an encouragement to others that are there also. So we're going to jump into things here today, but before we do that, let me remind you, we call this Winning Wednesday, meaning that we are winners in the Lord Jesus Christ. Certainly, the world's not going to tell you you're a winner when you follow the Lord. The devil's certainly not going to tell you that, and actually, your own flesh is not going to tell you that. But we are winners in the Lord Jesus Christ, and let's be thankful for that. All right, we're going to be in First Chronicles chapter 19 today, a very unique story, and we'll try to give you maybe a couple of things from it. We're going to summarize it, but we're going to read some verses to kind of give you the setting here. And right before we do that, again, thank you for all who do watch, and we appreciate all the interaction that we get from you. All right, it says in First Chronicles 19:1, it says, "Now it came to pass after this that Nahash, the king of the children of Ammon, died, and his son reigned in his stead. And David said, I will show kindness unto Hanun, the son of Nahash, because his father showed kindness to me. And David sent messengers to comfort him concerning his father. So the servants of David came into the land of the children of Ammon to Hanun to comfort him. But the princes of the children of Ammon said to Hanun, Thinkest thou that David doth honor thy father, and that he hath sent comforters unto thee? Are not his servants come unto thee for to search and overthrow and to spy out the land?" Now we're going to skip verses 4 and 5. And here's where they shamed these messengers. They shamed these servants that come to comfort him, and they did some physical things here. And then David, of course, came back and saw how his men had been shamed. Notice in verse 6, "And when the children of Ammon saw that they had made themselves odious to David, Hanun and the children of Ammon sent 1,000 talents of silver to hire them chariots and horsemen out of Mesopotamia, and out of Syria, Maacah, and out of Zobah. So they hired 30 and 2,000 chariots, and the king of Maacah and his people, who came and pitched before Medeba. And the children of Ammon gathered themselves together from their cities, and had come to David." And then, of course, David, he begins to organize his army. And then all these things start to happen. And it says here, we get down to verse 15, "And when the children of Ammon saw that the Syrians were fled, they likewise fled before Abishai his brother, and entered into the city. Then Joab came to Jerusalem." Then we're going to skip down here. And it says, "And it was told David, he gathered all Israel, and passed over Jordan, and came upon them, and set the battle in array against them. So when David had put the battle in array against the Syrians, they fought with him. But the Syrians fled before Israel, and David slew of the Syrians 7,000 men, which fought in chariots, and 40,000 footmen, and killed Shophach, the captain of the host. And when the servants of Hadarezer saw that they were put to the worse before Israel, they made peace with David, and became his servants. Neither would the Syrians help the children of Ammon anymore." Now, I took time to read all those verses, and here's what's unique about the story. Here's what I think about this. This was one of the most totally useless wars of all time. There's no doubt about it. Here's a man, his father dies, he becomes the king. David says, you know what? That the king of Ammon, he was kind to me, so I'm going to show kindness to his son. His father's died. I'm going to send comforters. The comforters show up, and the princes of the children of Ammon, which is kind of his little cabinet, said, you know what? They're not here to comfort you. They're here to spy, and this is eventually going to lead to our overthrow. So they shame those messengers. They send them back, and David says, I can't believe this. So, and then we find out that Hanun there, the king, starts hiring all these people to go to war against David, and they end up going to war. And what a totally useless war. You heard the amounts of people that were died there. I think 7,000 men that were part of the chariots, 40,000. So all this to say, what a totally useless war. What do I gain from that? Number one, be careful about people who tell you things that are not true, especially to put you in a mindset in which you want to go after somebody. Now, we're not talking about, obviously, really in a physical sense. Sometimes this is just people get you stirred up that want you to verbally say some things, perhaps, or divide you from them. What a totally useless war. All the loss of life, all the money that was spent to hire people, and for no good reasons. In fact, it was the sad thing is David says, I want to comfort these people. Ends up he has to go to war, and that's just totally useless. The second thing about this is we need to be aware of what's going on around us. So in other words, Hanan had these comforters come. He must have known that David was in good relationships with his father. In fact, the Bible said there that his father, Hanan's father, the king of Ammon, was kind to David. So when all this happens, you've got these princes, these men that says that's not what this is all about. They're not here to comfort. They're here to this is going to be a harmful situation. So I say in life, you need to be careful when you see things going on around you. Be aware. Ask God for wisdom. You don't want to make misjudgments, that's for sure. The other side of it is, let's pretend and let's flip this. Let's say that some men had come to David to say, we want to show you some kindness. And in fact, what they were intending to do was to spy or was to gather information that would be harmful so that when they went to war against David, then they could have an upper hand. And got a feeling, though, if that had happened in David's case, he just says, I know what's going on here. This is not what it seems. And I think we need to be very careful, one, because we don't want to make misjudgments. We don't want to hear people tell us things and they're misinformed or they're just plainly trying to lead us down the wrong path. Be very careful about that. And then the other side of it is, I think you ought to be aware of what's going on around you. I think if things are not right and things are happening and you don't see it, then ask God for wisdom to protect yourself, to protect your family, to protect your church, whatever it might be. And I think in this day and age that we live in, we've got leadership in all positions in government and other places. But I say this: if our leadership is really not aware of the discontent and the damage that's being done by the policies that are being made in this country, then they truly are not really worthy to be in that leadership position. I realize we vote people into positions, but we need to be aware of where they stand and aware of their credentials and all the things that they're good or not good at. And so all that to say, be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of what's going on around you. See the things that are not right, but also see the things that are right, and someone may make them not right and to put you in a position where you make a misjudgment or something. So what a totally useless war. The loss of life, the loss of all the resources, and the loss of time, when in fact all David wanted to do was just show kindness to a man who had lost his father, and it turned out to be a big, useless war. And let's not let things like it happen to us in our life, okay? So we're going to stop there. Hope you have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow on what we call Trusting Thursday. And you have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.